Mr Deputy Speaker, Article 8.2 of the Rome Statute of International Criminal Court defines the term war crimes in two ways: as a grave breach of the Geneva Convention or as a serious violation of the laws and customs applicable to international armed conflict. Under these two headings, it provides 31 different offences. Here are just some examples: attacking or bombarding by whatever means towns, villages, dwellings or buildings which are undefended or which are not military objectives; killing or wounding a combatant who, having laid down his arms or having no longer means of defence, has surrendered at discretion; subjecting persons who are in the power of the adverse party to physical mutilation or to medical or scientific experiments; committing outrages upon personal dignity, in particular humiliating and degrading treatment. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm listing some of these crimes because if we accept only the government's proposals instead of the amendments of the other place, they will remain as relevant offences in the bill. I'm incredibly sceptical about there being a presumption against prosecution just because a crime was committed abroad, but it's unclear to me why anyone would support a time limit or presumption against prosecution specifically on the charge of attacking defenceless towns or killing people who have surrendered. Why rule out torture, but not physical mutilation or scientific experiments on enemy combatants? The concessions that ministers and the MOD have made on torture, genocide and crimes against humanity are very, very welcome, but they don't go far enough to ensure that some of the worst crimes a person can commit are excluded. I agree with many members today who have signalled adopting Lord Robertson's excellent amendment wholesale would be the best approach to uphold our international reputation. And on the issue that ministers say this bill addresses the well-being of veterans, the bill also falls well short. I'd like to reiterate mention of Lord Boyce's remarks by my right honourable friend, the member for Wentworth and Dearne. A presumption against prosecution helps no one. The issue that needs to be dealt with is the investigation and re-investigation of cases. The Lord's amendments to the bill provide a mechanism for dealing with those re-investigations, and yet the government is opposing them. At the same time, ministers are also proposing to make it harder for veterans to bring cases against the MOD. And they are opposing any attempt to provide a duty of care to ex-service personnel involved in legal cases. Mr Deputy Speaker, without these amendments, this bill fails across the board and falls well short. Instead of playing politics with human rights, the government should guarantee access to justice for all victims of war, from the victims and survivors of war crimes to those ex-service personnel failed by the MOD. That's why I'll be voting for the amendments from the other place today.